Hi, I'm Margarida and I work at Customer Success here at Nutrium. Today, I'll be recording a general tutorial of our software. We thought it was high time for us to update it, considering the last one we made was a couple of years ago. So if you have any questions, hopefully this video will help you. Nonetheless, you can always reach out via our software's chat, email, social media, however you prefer. We're here to help. Hopefully this video will as well. So let's get this started. So first things first, when accessing your account, you will be sent to the home page where you will be able to see all of your future appointments as well as scheduling new ones. Have access to your statistics of the week, as well as conversations you've been having with your clients. And also in regards to follow-up, for instance, we can see that this client has been registering in our mobile app, a food diary. So you also have access to this right here on this homepage. Nonetheless, the first thing that I usually like to suggest, of course, this is just a suggestion, is for clients to customize the software to their needs, to their practice. So prior to doing anything else, that would be my first advice. But of course, you can start by registering a client or start a new appointment. I'm just going to follow this thread just for the sake of this tutorial. The first thing you can do is by clicking on your username, access your configurations and preferences. So over here, you can start to customize your account to your own needs. As you can see, I have made some changes myself. You can change whatever you'd like, some settings. You can enable features, disable features. Here in the assessment form, you can decide what questions you'd like for your clients to reply to. If some of these questions don't make sense, you can just remove them and they won't be sent to your clients. In the email and printing preferences, you can decide what sections you'd like for your meal plans to have. If some don't make sense, you can also remove them. You can decide the body of the email that will be sent to your clients. By default, this is the one that appears, but you can update it without any problems. And you can also play a little with the design and the layout of the meal plan, as well as the font size. Over here is where we have the possibility to customize food composition databases. Nutrium is present in multiple countries already, and by default, when you sign up, you will only have access to a few composition databases. Nonetheless, you can still use all of the other ones that we have, especially, for instance, if you deal with Spanish-speaking clients, French-speaking clients. If you click here on the pencil, you can see the food composition databases that we have right now. Select the ones that make most sense for your practice, and once you're done, just click Update. And like that, you'll have access to more foods when you start creating your meal plans. And finally, we have the measurements. Much like in the food composition databases, by default, the software will already have a few configured. If they don't make sense, or if you'd like to add other measurements, there's no problem at all. Just click on the pencil and select the ones that make most sense to you. Remove the ones that don't make that much sense. And once you're done, just click Update Measurement Types. And there you go. All of this information will then appear once you start your appointment. After this, my suggestion would be for you to access your profile. Over here is where you will be able to create your workplaces, your services, update your logo. So let's go and do that. And right here, you can fill in your professional information as well as your personal information, change your profile picture, and then create your workplaces and services. By default, you already have one workplace created, which is likely to be called Nutrium. Of course, you can delete it or change it. I am going to change mine. So I am going to click. The first thing that I want to do is to change the name. So you can, of course, add your own phone number. And now I'm going to add a different logo. This one's good. And I can also change the color so that it's in accordance to my logo. So I'm going to choose a nice red. Once I'm done, I just click Save. And here we have our first workplace. I'm going to create a second one, and this one will not be online, so I'll need to add some information. I'm going to call this one online. For instance, I'm going to change very quickly my country. Of course, you can do this yourself as well. By default, you should have your own country signed in, but you can still change it. I'm going to put an address that I have here that I'll be using, a mock address. That's fine. And once again, I could change if I wanted my logo as well as the colors, but I'm going to keep it like this and add. And here we are. We have another workplace created. And now I'm going to create my services. Now, I have a online workplace and a presential workplace, a clinic, for instance. So I'm going to create services for both. Let's say, for instance, I want to have face-to-face appointments. These ones will be, I want to select for my new clients because the software is able to filter when a client is recurring, and that will be helpful later on when clients are scheduling their appointments. So I can change the name if I want to. I can change the duration. I'm going to put an hour, the pricing, and then I can click the workplace. In this case, of course, I only have one workplace where I'm able to give face-to-face appointments. So, of course, it is already selected. And then I add it. And here we go. Now I'm going to create another face-to-face, but this one will be for recurring clients. This will be a little bit shorter, so 45 minutes. As you can see, you can personalize as you wish and in accordance to your workplaces. And now I'm going to create an online service. I'm going to keep it for all clients. I'm going to put the time for 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's fine. And 70 euros. And as you can see, I already have both workplaces selected. Should I wish to, I want to, so I'm going to keep it like this. And here we go. We have our services created as well as our workplaces. And now the next thing we want to do is to go to our calendar and configure our working schedule. So access the calendar. Over here, you can now start creating your working schedule by clicking here. Something I'd like to point out is that, as you can see, I have access to this link. Once you access this tab for the first time, you will see that you will not have access to it. Why? Because this link only appears once you have created your workplaces, which we have done, and your services, which we have done as well. Now, in my case, as this is my account, I already have created my working schedule as well. In your case, until you create your working schedule, this option won't appear. Only after you create them will you have access to this link. And I'll let you know in a few why this link is so important. So to create your working schedule, just click here. And now let's start preparing and let's start configuring our schedules. Let's say for Monday, for instance, that I want to have, there we go. I want to have my workplace Nutrition for All, and I'm going to be working there the whole day. So I'm going to be there from 9 to 6. But I do, however, want to have a lunch break, which is what I have added here. If that wasn't the case, if I wanted to work without any lunch break, I could just delete this. Of course, this has been configured by me already. So the software will most likely appear like this to you, 9 to 5. If you want to add a workplace, just click here, a lunch hour, just click here and then do the changes you'd like. Or in this case, if you are working somewhere else, I'm going to put the other workplace that I have, and I am going to choose my hours, and there I go. And this is my Monday schedule. Now, let's say that on Tuesday I am working just face to face. I can create then my new workplace, my new work schedule, select the workplace in question, which is this one, and then the working hours I'm going to change it because I want to add my lunch hour. So I'm going to click add new time frame, and then I'm going to keep the same workplace and just change it here. Let's say something like this, and so on. Now, if let's say my working schedule is the same on Monday as well as on Wednesday, instead of having to do everything again, I can just import it. And to do that, just click here, select the day you want to import, in this case, Monday, and here we go. Now, for the purposes of this demo, I am going to fill in the rest of my working days. And then I'll show you how your clients will be able to schedule an appointment with you as long as you have all of these steps done. So I'm going to import another one and create a different one. Like this. I'm going to add my lunch hour, which will be until 1. And here we go. Once you're done, just click Save. Only once you have followed all of these 3 steps will you have access to this link. And what is this link good for? If you click here, copy link, as you can see, this little message appears here. And this means you can share it, for instance, on your social media or with your clients or in platforms where you are at and you'd like to share your working schedules. And anyone who has access to this link will be able to schedule appointments with you in accordance to the workplaces, services, and schedules you have configured. And now I'm going to show you how it would appear on the patient side. Something that I'd like to point out as well is that this is also very useful if you create your own website with Nutrium, which I'm going to show you a little bit down the line how to do. It's super easy. And it also shows the possibility for your clients to be able to schedule appointments directly through your website. But first, let's see how they can schedule an appointment using this link. Once your clients have clicked on the link, they will be forwarded to this page. As you can see, they are able to select the type of service they would like to have from you in accordance to what you have created. And of course, it will adapt automatically in accordance to what they select. Then they can choose the service and, of course, choose what makes sense for them, the reason, and then they can choose the best time, the time that best works for them. I'm going to click here. Now, this is why I was telling you earlier that it's important to have a difference between services from new clients and services for clients you've seen before. If they are a recurring client, they just need to click here and then input their email and password. And then if they want, they can send a message to you. If they are a new client, they will need to fill in this information. So I'm going to use some information that I have very quickly. This information is mandatory because, of course, you as a professional will need to have access to it in order to be able to contact your clients. They can choose their country of residence, their email. I'm going to put and create a password. And if they want, they can also send you a message. Then they need to accept the terms and conditions of use, as well as the privacy policy. And then they can submit their request. Oh, I was missing the mobile number here. Okay, I put a random one, of course. And then they can submit their request. Now, you won't have access to this information right away. And why is that? Because for this information or for this request to appear on your Nutrium account, your client will have to confirm the request prior to anything else. After submitting their request, they'll receive an email. And on that email, they will have to click confirm or deny. And only once they click confirm will you have access on your own account. So I'm going to show you the email they are sent, which is this one right here. And as you can see, they need to confirm request or cancel request. Only once they click confirm request will you, as a professional, receive their request on your Nutrium account. So I'm going to click. As we can see already on the tab calendar, we have the little one, the notification. So I'm going to click. And here we have a pending appointment, which was the one that I just scheduled. Now I can answer the request and I can either reject it or accept it. In this case, you are also able to write them a message. Let's say if you want them to, like if it's an online appointment, make sure you have access to good connection. Make sure you use a laptop instead of a mobile. Any information you'd like to add for your clients, you are able to put it in here. And then, of course, you can also send them the assessment form should you want to by clicking here. The client will automatically receive an email with the assessment form to fill in prior to the appointment. In case you don't want to, then you just unclick it, accept request, and there we go. The request is now here, and if I go to my home page, I am now able to see the pending appointment that I have here for myself as the patient. The next thing that I want to show you is how you can register a new client. Of course, we could already start this appointment with the request that I just made, or we can also make some changes if we'd like. Of course, we can check the patient's profile as well. Even if it's a part of your practice and you'd like, for instance, for your client to fill in their food diary, you can do that. You just need to access the Deliverables tab and give them access to the mobile app. And then the clients will be able to fill in their food diary prior to the first appointment. And once they get to the appointment, or once you have the appointment, you will be able to see all of this information right here on this follow-up tab. Now, in this case, we are going to register a new client, schedule an appointment with them. For you to see the other way that you can do this, you can, of course, access the tab clients and do it right here. Or you can go until the bottom of the screen where we say register clients and click. And here we have the information necessary that we need to fill in. So the first things first, of course, I want to write down the client's name. For instance, okay, now I'm going to put in a random birth date. Okay, we can change the country. Let's say you are giving an online appointment to a client who is in, I don't know, in Mexico. You can just access this option, search for Mexico, and then the mobile phone number, the prefix will also adapt. You can select the workplace in which this client will be attending. I'm going to select all workplaces, occupation, I'm going to put student, zip code, and email. Now, these three, the mobile number, the zip code, and the email aren't mandatory. However, if you don't know, for instance, the email, of course, it's very important to have either one of these for you to be able to give your clients access to the mobile app. If you don't know the email, the software will generate a random email for you, which then you will be able to correct once you have some feedback from your client. In this case, I am not going to put in this information. One thing you need to take into account is that by not putting in your client's email, you won't be able to send them the nutrition assessment form right as you are registering them. Of course, you have another way to do it, but in this case, it won't be possible if you don't fill in a valid email address like an Hotmail, Gmail, Outlook. So you need to have one of those. I'm going to register Eleanor. And it's perfect. Client successfully registered. And now I'm going to set up an appointment with her. I can access her profile, or I can go to my calendar if I want to. Search here. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to put it for today at 7. Let's say schedule an appointment, select the client, and then you can say if this appointment is confirmed or not. If you're still waiting for feedback, you can just put not confirmed and then confirm it prior to the appointment. Once again, choose one of the workplaces in question. In this case, I'm going to leave this one. If you are having an online appointment, you can also use one of these options. The software will automatically generate a link for you to share with your clients. The important thing is that by using one of these options, you always have this little tick here in synchronize appointment with Google Calendar to make sure mostly that your client will receive an email with this link for them to access. Even if you weren't doing an online appointment, I would still advise you to always synchronize the appointment with your Google Calendar, because your client will always be reminded of the appointment. Once you have started the appointment, you will be forwarded to your client's profile. As you can see, we have these 8 tabs selected. You don't have to follow all of them or the order that we have selected. This is just a flow that we feel would be most helpful for clients using Nutrium. Clicking here in more details, you can see that you can alter the information from your clients. I've already altered her email to an actual email so that I'll be able to send her the assessment form, which I now can. But if I don't choose to send the assessment form, there are a lot of professionals that don't use this. That's totally fine as well. You can fill in all of this information yourself during the appointment. None of this is mandatory, meaning you can only choose to fill in what's necessary for you. You can also fill in your client's food diary, for instance. In case you haven't given them access to the app, you can always fill it in right here. An example, here we are, always with the date of the appointment. And you can also save this information. If you want to record, if you want to have a record of this information to know why this client first got to you or why they chose to have an appointment with you, you can always save it right here. Change the name if you want to. And then by accessing the Files tab, you will have it right here to check whenever you want. You can also add different files, as you can see, that you'd like to for your clients to share with you or to share with your clients. And you can also share the information you write down here by printing it or downloading it to a PDF. Then you can access the tab to follow up, which for a first appointment won't be really that needed. And why is that? As you can see on this little orange message right here on the right, the client doesn't have access to the mobile yet or still hasn't accessed the app. So there's no information for us to analyze here. Once you give them access, this little message will disappear and your clients will then be able to fill in all of the information, be it the food diary in case the plan you have allows it, if they are keeping up with their meal plan or not, register a physical activity, water intake, and all of that information will appear right here, as well as messages you can exchange with your clients. In regards to the food diary and the meal plan, the software itself will analyze the micro and micronutrients for you. Once you access the measurements tab, you will have 3 ways to fill it in. If you have a scale, be it in body or can be you can import a document created by those scales into the software and the measurements will appear automatically, or you can enter them manually. You can do it one by one by clicking here on the left, or you can do it by clicking here in register measurements and fill them in all at once. A good thing is that you can also change the date. Let's say this is a first appointment, but your client has been keeping up with their measurements. You can also change the date to whichever you'd like. Once you have more than one measurement per measurement, let's say if you have 2 registers for weight, the software will also start to create a graphic with the progress, which you then can share with your clients should you want to. Now, I'm just going to fill in some of the measurements just so you can see. Let's start with the weight. One, okay. The height. It's always in centimeters. So personally, I tend to prefer to click here in register measurements all at once. But for the sake of this demo, I am doing it here on the left side. It's possible as well. So however you prefer is fine. Let me just check again. Okay. And here we are. And once you go down, you can already see that the software has also made some math for you in terms of body fat percentage, fat mass, lean body mass. If you want, you should also click here to be able to see the prediction equation that has been assigned. This by default will always be the one that makes most sense, but you can always change it. And just to make sure it's registered, because even though the software has made the math for you, this doesn't mean the measurements are registered. So you always need to click here and then make sure you record them as a measurement, like so. And then every one of them has now been recorded on the software. This is important for you to do. Now, try to fill in as much information here as possible, because then once you go to the planning section, you will have a lot of information that the software has already done for you, which saves you a lot of time, as you can see. Nonetheless, you can still make changes if there's something you'd like to change. That's no problem at all. You can add information. I'm just doing this for the sake of some tests for you guys to see. But as you can see, this is definitely possible. I'm going to put it like this. And as I go along, the software also adapts to what I'm correcting, what I'm inputting myself. I can also change the information here if I want to, and pay close attention. I am going to choose one of these options, and you'll see how the software adapts. Like, for instance, here. And there we go. Now, for the macronutrients distribution, the same thing happens. The software has done the math for me. If it doesn't make sense for some reason, or if I want to make some changes, I can do so without any inconvenience. I can move these little bars here, or I can input the number directly. The same for the fiber. Now, once everything is done here, I would also like to point out, let's say you are working with someone that plays sports. If you want to, you can also create more than one planning by clicking here. You can change the name of the one by default, like resting days, and then you can create a new one. Not copy the default planning and just name it working out days, something like that. That's totally possible as well. Once everything is done here, I will now move on to the meal plan portion. Pay once again attention as to how we have this goal here selected. Once I go to the meal plan option, everything that I start to input in my client's meal plan will be in accordance to this little information that I have written down here in the planning section. As you can see, we now have all of the information we have just registered right here, so that once I start doing the meal plan, it will be in accordance to what we have selected in the previous tab, as well as the food diary that we have registered in informations. So it's easier for us to create this meal plan and to have an idea of our clients' usual meals. So ways to create a meal plan, there are a lot of them. Of course, the main one and the one most people remember right away or think of right away is to go and add foods one by one, which again, totally possible. But personally, I do think is the one that takes us the longest. Nonetheless, I'm going to show you how you can do it. Just click here on the plus sign. You should always have this little option selected, all databases. This will allow you to have access or easier access to the most possible foods for you to suggest to your clients. So we can see that she has been having toast and tea. So I'm going to search for tea. Let's start a little search here. I can go with this one, for instance, or with this one. I can also take a look at the common measures that we have, or I can choose a different one. I think I'm going to go with this one. No, maybe this one. Okay, 1 cup, 1 mug. Okay, 1 cup's fine. I can add it. And there I go. The first ingredient has been added to this client's meal plan. As you can see right away, the software starts to analyze the macro and micronutrients, even though we've just added a cup of tea. Now, if you want to, you can also add an equivalent. You just need to click here. Automatically, the macronutrient selected by default is energy, but of course, you can choose the one that makes most sense. Let's say, I don't know, do we? And if you don't want to, you can also remove the option. Let's see if you have anything here. I want a food, not a recipe. So I have this one here if I want to, for instance. Of course, this isn't exactly the same. Again, just for the purpose of for you guys to see how you can, in fact, add this information yourself. If by some reason the food that I'm searching for isn't available, you can always create it yourself by accessing here the left-hand side menu and clicking foods. You can create your own foods, your own database, so that you'll always have access to it. None of the other professionals will have access to those foods you create, just you. So this is an example, and then I am going to close it. If I want to, I can keep adding. Let's say, for instance, for the morning snack, I want to add a recipe. In this case, my suggestion would be to select a type of a different type of filter. I can try and see if I have some recipe created. And I have like this one that I've created, this blueberry smoothie. It's my recipe. The database that I have selected is my own recipe, and I can add it. And here we go. And the software keeps on doing the math for us. As you can see, even it takes into account, once again, what we have filled in previously in the planning section. Now, this is a way. The way that I tend to suggest, which I feel is the easiest and fastest way for you to create your client's meal plan and to dedicate more time to your client during the appointment, would be to import a meal plan. And you can import the totality of the meal plan and then make some changes, or you can import just a meal. If you want to import just a meal, let's say lunch, you can just click here, import food from other meal, and you can either import the lunch from a different client, or you can choose your meal plan templates and choose if it's a meal plan from the software or if it's a template created by you. Totally your choice. So I'm going to look around here and I'm going to just select one. And as you can see, automatically, we already have here a meal for this client. Of course, let's say she doesn't like soup. I can delete it. No problem at all. Even though this is a meal plan that I used from a template from the software, I can still make changes and there's no problem at all. I can also make changes here. Let's say, for instance, we want to change here the quantities. I'm going to click, change food quantity, and I'm going to put 2 cups, an example. And there we go. We can do this without no problem at all. If, again, I talked about this a little while ago, let's say you have a client who speaks a different language and you are comfortable with Spanish, with Portuguese, whatever the language is, you can also add by clicking here. You will have access to all of the databases that you have created, that you have configured, and you can choose, let's say, a Portuguese item. Let's see if I can find anything here. Search a little more and remove here the energy option. I'm going to have to search a lot, but let's see. Of course, the first ones that will appear will be the ones that I have integrated. Oh, I totally forgot that I don't have any Portuguese one food composition database created, but I do have a Spanish one. So let's say this one. This is Apple. This is a Spanish food composition database. Let's say I'm super fluent in Spanish. I'm comfortable with it. I can also add this little food to my client's meal plan. Here it is. And now the only thing that I need to do is to edit the name because my client, this is an example, okay, but my client doesn't speak Spanish, so I'm going to put it in English for him. And there we go, no problem at all. Now, I'm going to show you the other way that you can import your meal plan. Let me just delete every information so that it's easier for you guys to understand how quick it can be for you guys to create a meal. Just take the time because we're here at the bottom of the screen. You can also add other meals if you want to, or you can delete meals that don't make sense for your clients. And now I am going to import a meal plan. In order to do that, just click here. And I can choose once again to import a meal plan from a previous client or from the meal plan templates that I have. In this case, my templates or the system templates. I am going to choose something from the software, taking into account what I have stated in regards to this patient. I'm going to choose something like this, okay? Now, the software will ask me if I want to replace the current meal plan. Of course, we don't have anything, but I'm going to put this nonetheless because it's something that we have to do. And I can import now, or just another suggestion, if it ever comes up for you guys, you can also schedule this meal plan. Let's say that we do have a meal plan that we have created and we want this new meal plan to appear for our client next week. We just need to click here on this little arrow and then schedule import, select the date, like Monday 10th. We can put midnight AM, okay. And then schedule the import and automatically our client will have access to do this new meal plan next Monday at midnight. That's not what I want to do. I want to just import the meal plan. So I'm going to click and now confirm. And here we go. As you can see, we already have a whole meal plan created for this client. Once again, we can still make the changes we want to. If she doesn't like anything, we can change it. We can delete meals. This one doesn't make sense, so I'm going to delete it for her. As you can see. And now, your client, you are able to send the meal plan via PDF if you want to. You can print it. In order to do that, just click here on this little icon on the right. And of course, once you give them access to the mobile app, your client will also see their plan there. Now, another suggestion that I have is for you to always save your meal plans. You can do so by clicking here and you can save it as a meal plan template so that you can use it later on with another client. And my suggestion as well is for you to save it as an archive so that you will always have it in the files tab that we saw here in information. So I'm going to save it as both. As client's file, okay, from first appointment, let's say. Okay, and then if we go to that little tab, we already have that meal plan there, and I'm going to save it as well as a template because I want to make sure that I'll always have access to this meal plan. I can also add more information, whatever you want to, and then save, and you will always be able to find it right here in templates. Another thing before we move on to the next tab is that you can also create a weekly plan if you want to. Just need to click here and then select the days. I do not want to copy. So I am going to click each day, and then the software asks us if we want to merge the days into a single version. I don't want to, so I'm going to create a new version. And as you can see, we already are able to create a plan for each single day. Now, moving on to recommendations, super easy tab, just for you to give some extra feedback to your clients if you want to. In terms of physical activity, you can leave them some suggestions here. We are always updating this little this little list that we have. If you have any suggestions or if you can't find any types of activities, just let us know in support, and we'll be more than happy to forward a suggestion. You can also choose templates, foods to avoid to save some time, once again, from other clients or from the software. For instance, I'm going to click this one. And even if it's a template, I can still make my changes and I can still add other information. And there we have it. In terms of water intake, unfortunately, this isn't, you can't just write down what you want for your client. So you have to select one of these options or not. If you do select it in the mobile app, your client will receive notifications in regards to what you have selected here. So let's say if I want my client to drink 2 liters of water per day, she'll receive 10. But if I say the other client will only drink 1.5 liters per day, maybe you'll receive 7. So the notifications in the app will have to do with what you click here. Another recommendations, it's a field where you can write whatever you want. Once again, you can also save it so that you'll have a template to use later on to save some work. Now in this tab, if you remember correctly, I made a quick change to the plan that we were creating, and I created a plan that I didn't really create, but that was supposed to have a version for each day. So if you do create these types of plans, know that you can check the analysis per day, or you can check the analysis globally. In this case, I am going to very quickly jump to the meal plan tab again, and I am going to create a new version just so we have some information for you guys to see on that analysis tab. So I'm going to add this one, for instance. Okay, here we go. And now if we go to analysis, we already have all of the information that we need right here. Now take into account that you won't have the option to see per day because of course we just created, we merged all of the days when I selected that I wanted every day. But if you want to, now you know that you can also create a weekly meal plan. And here you have all of this information that you have in regards to the meal plan and what you have been registering. Personally, I really like this tab, especially because of this little field that we have right here, foods ordered by. And why is this so cool to me? If you get to take a look, for instance, at the micronutrients tab that we have right here, we have an idea of the micronutrients that we have on the meal plan that we have created and the ones that are way over the daily recommended or below what's the daily recommendation. So if we want to, we can just click here and I'm going to check, let's see, for instance, manganese. I'm going to click and now I can see what in the meal plan that we have created as the most of this micronutrient, and then very quickly I can go back to the meal plan tab and adapt it, and I can also see what has the least if I click here. So this is something very useful for me, and I think it helps a lot of our professionals to better adapt their work and to be more efficient. You can also print this if you want to deliver to your client. You can. Every time you see this little printing icon, it means that you can print it. So you can print the information in the informations tab. You can print the measurements. You can print the meal plan. You can also print the analysis. And finally, we go to the Deliverables tab. It is here where you can give access to your clients to the mobile app. First of all, before taking a look at that, just letting you know that you can also use this little tab to send the meal plan again in case you don't want to. In case you don't want your client just to have access to the meal plan in the mobile app, or if you have forgotten to download it or click print in that meal plan tab, you can also do it here. No problem at all. You can also send a message to your client to the mobile app, meal plan in PDF, or send the meal plan via, in this case, PDF again. So in this case, you are able to print it. In this case, you are able to send automatically a message, as you can see. Now, in regards to the mobile app, you have 3 ways to give your clients access to it. And be aware that these 3 options aren't, unfortunately, available for every country. What are these options? We have mobile phone option, email option, or generating a password option. Unfortunately, the mobile phone option, meaning sending an SMS to your client, is not available for every country. Meaning, you in your country might not have access to this option, or your client that's in another country might not have this option as well. If that's the case, then this option here won't appear for you, and you won't have this possibility, as you can see. Now, you also need to make sure that you have all of this information correctly written down. We do have the email. You can also add a phone number. I'm going to put one at random. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is no longer valid. I don't remember the one that I did earlier. It's a guessing game right here. I'm pretty sure this, okay, there we go. Now, let's say this was the correct number and I want to send my client the instructions via SMS. I just need to click here, send by SMS. Your clients will receive a message in a matter of seconds. They will have a link. This is admittedly, I think, the easiest option. Your clients will have a link on their message. If they haven't downloaded the app will download once they click on that link, and they will access their account. If they have the app already, they will click on the link and automatically enter their account. They won't need to register any passwords. If you'd rather send it by email, totally possible as well. Click on the option send by email. The only difference here is that it may take a little while longer for your clients to receive that email. It may also be sent to spam, so pay attention to that. And then your clients will also receive a link where they will need to create a password first, and only then will they be able to access the mobile app. The last option is to generate a password. In this case, you just click here, but you do not use any of these options because these are different options and it may cause trouble for them to access the app. So if you do use this option, make sure to tell it to your client in case they're with you. Send them a picture, send them an email and say, look, I want you to access the Nutrium app with this email and this password. And then the client will do it manually. You also have some preferences here in regards to mobile app. If you want to disable some of these features for your client, no problem at all. If you remember at the beginning of this demonstration, I showed you how you can enable or disable some features from the mobile app in configurations and preferences right here. If you go there, you can make changes for all of your clients at once. In this case, we are in this client's profile, so the changes are only for her. If I don't want her even to have access to the app, I can just disable and not worry about it anymore. Or if, let's say, I want her to be able to register a food diary, I can activate it by default. I believe all of the options are enabled, but always pay attention to this and what you want your client to have access to in the mobile app. Lastly, you can also request some lab tests if you want to. We do have a pretty large list here. Nonetheless, if the one that you're looking for isn't here, you can always write it down and then save it and print it to your client. As you can see, something very simple. And then you, once again, can leave some notes, something that people really like. If you want to say, oh, my client was very excited for the first appointment, oh, I'm happy to be working with her, you can write it down without any issue whatsoever. The date will always be the one in regards to this, to the date that you're at. So something like this. You can rest assured because your clients will not have access to this information. This is just for you, so you can write down everything that you want right here. Something like this. And every time you have a new appointment, you will always have a new little field that you can fill in with the date for your appointment. And last but not least, of course, before ending the appointment, our suggestion is always for you to schedule the next one. Of course, if it makes sense for the type of practice that you have. In this case, let's say Eleanor really wants to schedule a next appointment. Super easy. Just click on the date. Let's choose the hour here. put half an hour. Okay, confirmed because Eleanor is with me. Always synchronized with Google Calendar. My suggestion once more, you don't have to do it, but I do advise you to do it. Save and close. Yes. And there we go. There we go. The next appointment with Eleanor is scheduled. And now I will just finish our appointment by clicking here, finish appointment, or by clicking on this little flag right here, like it's a race car. So yes, finish this appointment. And as you can see, if I go to the clients tab, our last appointment was today, 5th of April. Now, the last things that I'd like to point out for you guys to take a look at. Of course, we already saw the main features of the software. Nonetheless, I also advise you to take a look at the messages tab here on the left. You can have all of the information in regards to all of your clients. You can filter if you want to. You can send a message, which is super helpful. By clicking here, send message, you can then choose the workplace. We have two, so we can choose the clients we want to speak to. Let's say I have a little thing going on with the Nutrition for All workplace, and I want to contact all of my clients from that workplace. I just need to click here, and then only the clients that have this workplace will receive my message. I can also, of course, choose one client only, or all of them by clicking here in the tabs. I have also created some tabs myself so that it's easier. I want to make a little joke with my vegetarian clients, so I can just look at the tab that I created, and all of the clients that have this tag will receive my message, and only those. And if I want to send to all the clients, I just need to click on the option tags and then look for the option, all clients. You can also change the category, the subject, and write down a message. You can insert an attachment. And again, my suggestion is to always notify by email so that you make sure your client receives the message not only on their mobile app, but also on their email. In case they're older and they don't want to use the app, you can just contact them by email by clicking here. Or if your client doesn't really pay attention to the mobile app, always make sure to click here to assert to make sure that they do receive your messages and they can contact with you easily. This is a very interesting tab, which I invite you to try out as well. The follow-up tab is also pretty interesting in terms of the mobile app. Here is pretty much the same that we have on the appointments flow. The number 2 tab is the follow-up tab. In our client's case, Eleanor, we didn't have any information because she didn't access the mobile app yet. However, we do have a lot of clients that have accessed the app. And as you can see, we have information right here that we can take a look at. For instance, the food diary that she made, the changes that she made. We can also like their everything they let us know. I think clients really like that little interaction with their professional. So you can like it. You can send a message directly, and you can see the clients that are compliant with the meal app, the ones that are struggling, and perhaps to engage them a little bit more. You can see, okay, these are struggling. Maybe I'll send a message to Patricia and ask her, hey, Patricia, how's it going? Do you need to make some changes to the meal plan? So this is always great. Then here, like I mentioned before, is where you can create your website. And it's super easy because you don't have to worry about coding and everything like that. You just need to fill in this information. Of course, mine is already registered because, I prepared my account prior to this video. But you just need to fill in your information, what you want to share with your clients. You can share links to your Facebook, to your Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you want to. And once you are done, you just need to click here in public and your website will be public. So you don't have to worry at all about coding or other information. Another good thing about your website is that your clients will be able to see your workplaces. They will be able to see recipes that you have created just for them or that you wanted to create for your website. They will appear there as well. And also blog posts that you might want to create to engage with some other people, even to advertise your practice and your services. This is always a great way. So I am just going to put it public, and I'm going to show you here a little preview. As you can see, everything is already written down. You can see my workplaces. You can see blogs that I have created, as well as recipes. So I really do advise you to take a look into this, because it would definitely be a good idea and a good way for other people to engage with you. And of course, by clicking here, people will again be directed to that little portion that we saw a while ago to be able to schedule an appointment with you, or they will also be able to get in touch with you should they have any questions. Here at the top, they can also filter with blog articles or recipes. Finally, other things you can explore, the foods tab that I mentioned earlier. Here you can see all of the foods that we have in the software. You can choose specific databases, in this case, the ones that I have selected, to search for these foods, or you can create your own in a very easy way. Just need to select all of the information here, write everything down. Once you're done, just save and close. And this information will right away appear once you use the filter My Foods, as you can see. You can also, of course, create your own supplements. This is very useful for you to dynamize your clients' meal plan, just so they don't get bored of having the same foods over again. And of course, if you can find certain foods or even commercial foods that we still don't have on the software, you can create your own. Another thing is the recipes. Super useful as well. In this case, we have selected all of our three filters: the Nutrium recipes, the community recipes, and my recipes. Let's say I just want to have the recipes created by Nutrium and my own. I just need to click here, I remove the filter, and there I have it. These are the ones made by me for sure. Yeah, there we go. And let's say I want to have Nutriums. I'm not sure. Yeah, we don't have any. So I won't be finding any recipes here, but I can, of course, create my own, or I can use the recipes created by other professionals. Of course, we always protect the author. In this case, if you use a recipe created by a different professional, it will always have that professional's name, because that's just how it's supposed to be. The same will happen for you if you do create a recipe and choose to put it live for the Nutrium community. It will also have your name every time a different professional decides to use your own recipe. To create it, much like in the Foods tab, just click here, fill in all of the basic information. We do have another video where you can check how to create a recipe in a very easy manner. Nonetheless, as you can see, it's pretty intuitive. Once once you start adding all of this information, the software will, like in the meal plan, start doing the analysis for you. You can add whatever picture you like. You can add tags, let's say lunch, vegetarian lunch, or summer vacation. You can add whichever tags you like. If you want to delete it, you can. You can print your recipe and download it to PDF. So you can do everything you want to. If you decide to publish it, it would be right here. And then, of course, let's just fill in something very quickly, just for you guys to see how it would look. Let's see. I think I'm going to use a specific database just so it's easier. Okay, let's say this one, for instance. This is just so you guys can see how you can publish or not the recipe. Something like this. You can also add common measures. And let's try and publish it. Okay, so as you can see, automatically this recipe will appear on your website if you want to, and then you can decide to click and share it with the Nutrium community. If you don't want to, you don't need to put it live. You can just not publish it and still use it with your clients without any inconvenience. And finally, we have the equivalence tab. We don't have that many equivalents in Nutrium. You can, of course, create your own without any problem. It works the same as creating a new food, creating a new recipe. Just click on the option there. You can delete it. just need to remember to change the name so that when you're adding it to the meal plan, you can find it more easily. But it's super simple, as you can see. And now the templates tab, where we can again use the filters, the system templates in this case, where we only have the templates available in Nutrium. I can just filter, for instance, with my templates, and here are only the templates that I have created, or I can use all templates and have a mix of both. I tend to prefer to use one of the filters because I think it's easier for me to organize myself. But as you can see, let's say I want to make a change to this meal plan that we have right here from the software. Of course, as it's a template from the software, I won't have the possibility to make any changes. I can just view more detailed information if I want to, but I can't make any changes. If I do want to use this meal plan and make changes, I can do it without any problem. I just need to click here in duplicate. And right away, you can see meal plan duplicated with success, meaning you can now make the changes you want to. Delete, add, anything you want to. It works kind of like the recipes and kind of like the meal plan. The software does the analysis for you. Everything right here, easy access. The only thing I would like to remind you is that if you do duplicate a meal plan from the software, which again you can do without any issue, just don't forget to change the name of the meal plan, just so it's easier for you to find once you are importing it to a client's meal plan or to a client's profile. In this case, I'm going to put, let's say, Eleanor's version. And now I know that anytime I want to import this meal plan, if I just look for Eleanor's version, I will have access to it and be able to import it to another client. Here we go. And also the meal plan that we saved a little while ago. And this is it. I hope this has been a very interesting video for you guys. Of course, we know that there's a lot of information that you guys can see and need to find out first. And of course, it's with practice, and we're here to help with any questions you might have. Don't hesitate to reach out ever. My suggestion is, if you're just signing up, you make the most of your trial period. I think it's 14 days. Make the most of it. Try all of these features. You can even pretend that you are a client yourself and create a fake profile for you as a client, and use both sides of the coin, see both sides of the coin. And if you still have any questions after watching this video, please don't hesitate to reach out. Like I mentioned before, you can use our software's chat by clicking here on this little green dot on the right. You can use our email, social media. We are here to help however we can. And again, hopefully this was cool. You stayed with me all this time. Thank you once more for taking the time to being with me. And let's keep in touch. Thank you.